Hey guys, I'm Ash.
And I'm Pete.
We're two friends with a combo of 7 kids ranging from toddlers to 20s and 2 crazy husbands.
Our paths were not easy. With childhood battle wounds, divorce, second marriages and all, we somehow found each other. And together we talk real life, laugh, cry, and figure out how to survive the day.
Music is by Dustbowl Champion. To hear Dustbowl Champion's newest hits, search Dustbowl Champion on Spotify. Hey guys, it's Ash and Pete.
Hey.
We are back
We're back.
another week.
Yes. Ash, we've got a couple more days till school starts. Summer is officially ending.
It really is.
Like, vacation mode is ending. And I say that mostly because that means that our kids have to wake their asses up and get ready for school.
Yeah. Today we were at the elementary school for parent-teacher club. We had a luncheon. There's a back-to-school luncheon for the teachers that we put on. And so I had to drop something off for it. And we came back home and Jackson said, I really need to get my sleep schedule back together. I'm like, yeah, you do. You got to be ready to get on it.
Yeah.
And I feel really bad. I feel like I put a lot of pressure on Hayden to do well. Like, he's a very, very smart kid. Mm-hmm. He does not apply himself a lot. And I think I put too much stress on him to do well. I think it makes him very nervous. You're making a face.
Well, I am. It's just funny that you say that because I'm going to tell you what I think real quick.
Okay.
Okay.
About my kid?
Well, but it's about both of our kids.
Okay.
I think it's about, I'm going to blanket it over a lot of kids today.
Yeah.
Not all kids. I'll say a lot of kids today. Mm-hmm. And I say this, and I put my kid under the same blanket because we kind of had this conversation. She's going to be a junior.
Yeah.
And basically I told her, like, you can't fuck up this year. You know, like, there's no room for that. This is a big year.
This really matters.
You have all these goals, and if you want to meet them, it's going to all count. And she's like, don't stress me out. You know how I get, and then I get anxious, and then I have, like, you know, blah, 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 and I don't want to, like, and I'm like, this is going to definitely be, like, not kid appropriate conversation, so maybe pause it if you have your kids in the car. But I'm like, I told her, I looked at her and I really did say, I go, don't act like a pussy right now.
Yeah.
I mean, grow up. Like, this is like for real shit.
Yeah.
Like,
you've got 2 years,
you're 16.
Girl.
You're going to be 18 and you want to act like you're badass and all that. You're about to be, like, fully legally responsible for yourself.
And you're not ready for it.
You're not.
You gotta, I mean, buck up, buddy.
Think that this is pressure? Give me a break.
Yeah.
Wait till you're trying to pay your PG&E and your rent and get to where you need to go. I mean, blah, 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 blah. You know, I think, like, she seemed gun-ho about getting her license, and then it was, like, on a, like, halt. Like, she didn't have any, like, motivation. And then it's kind of been off and on, but I think she gets in her own head. And she's like, I don't know, it kind of stresses me out to drive. And I'm like, look, I am one to say, like, I would, like, grab the wheel like it was.
Yeah, Tony should for sure teach her how to drive over you.
I don't know, though. I'm really good with her, but I'm one to, like, I was very scared in the sense of I've always been afraid that something bad is going to happen to me in a car accident.
Mm-hmm. I am the same. I know we've talked about it. We both feel like that could potentially be like our end. Yeah, that's how we go.
So
maybe we're together.
Maybe. Oh my god! Don't drive with me, okay?
I know. There's all this foreshadowing that we've had in years past, and it's all leading up to this one trip.
I don't know why I've always felt that way. It's just kind of a fear of mine.
Yeah.
But what are you gonna do? Never drive anywhere?
Right.
Like,
have you ever lost anyone in a car accident?
No.
Oh. Okay.
No. So I don't know
where that fear comes from.
I don't know. I don't know if it's self-doubt or I have no idea.
But maybe, I mean, that could be a good thing. Like, I feel like my mom made me very scared as a driver because my mom is very paranoid and she was always like, the freeway is so dangerous. So you know how I get when I'm driving. Like, I literally had a panic attack while driving multiple times, more than one occasion. And I feel like a lot of it comes from that. My uncle did die in a car accident. So I don't know if it's like a combination of everything, but I feel like even though my uncle, based on what the cops say and whatnot, my uncle may have taken his eyes off the road. So that's, I feel like, not as strong of a thing. Like, that makes it hard for me to drive past car accidents. But as far as what makes me nervous about being in the car, I think it's a lot to do with what my mom said.
Yeah.
And so I'm like, I'm very careful about, I'm not going to tell my kids stuff like that because it made me a very anxious driver.
Yeah.
And Hayden's already like, I think I'm going to be scared. I'm like, you need to drive with your dad. Your dad needs to teach you because Jason is not afraid and he's a good driver. He is way riskier than I am.
Yeah.
But he's very comfortable. And I think being a comfortable driver is so much better. I think you are a much better driver if you're a comfortable driver.
Yeah. Yeah. No, I agree. And I think as time has gone on, I just remember feeling that way in the beginning, and it took me a while to feel really comfortable. And I did. I mean, this is one of the reasons why it's like, yeah, you can get like a little something for your first car, but nothing real nice because I banged up things, you know, like I did things hitting, coming in and out of the garage,
right.
You know, your all these different little things that, I mean, I remember like my mom, like, you're going to have to pay for that. And I didn't have my own car. I shared a car with her.
Yeah.
But it was like until I bought my car.
Yeah, I didn't either. So it was, you know, anytime. I remember I backed into a pole one time, backing out of our parking stall in our apartment.
I did that at the gas station. You know when you like those poles right there?
Yeah.
I freaking scraped it.
So I'm not going to tell you which sister-in-law did this, but I have a sister-in-law who scraped the side of the truck on like pulling into the gas station. My brother will not let her live it down. It was one of his trucks. Like, she was driving the truck because he had her car. Something to do with that.
Little person in a big truck.
Both of my sister-in-laws are very
petite.
small. Yes, they are very petite women. And so my brother, I'm like, you've got to give her a break. Like, I would not have been able to do it, you know, but he will not let her live it down, you know.
Gosh,
but
funny.
Yeah, like the same thing, you know, my mom and I would only drive my mom's car. I never had a car when I was young, you know, whatever.
But my whole point was, like, I just feel like sometimes these kids, I'm like grow up and get the F over it. Like, seriously. I mean, you're about to have weight, like, the responsibilities don't get less, they become more.
Right.
So why are our children, like, acting like, I'm going to have anxiety and I'm going to have all these things and that's all these pressures. And it's like, pressures of what?
Right.
You like, do the dishes and take the trash out and do, like, clean the bathrooms once a week, if that, and you go to school.
Yeah.
And now she's working, but that's on her. I mean, that's on her weekends. That's
and it's been summer.
It's been summer. It's like, you don't really have, like, I had pressures.
Right.
And I'm like, what the heck do you have? You have everything.
Yeah. And it's weird because I don't feel like my kids are sheltered. I feel like I'm very open with them. I feel like they're very aware of stuff. I don't feel like things have been kept from them.
Yeah.
But I also feel like they don't live in the real world. And why? Like, why is that? I was talking to Jackson's teacher today at the luncheon, and she had said, you know, her daughter's going into her senior year, which is like,
I remember that because she's
I know. When she said that, I'm like, stop it. Like, really already? And she said, yeah. And I said, you know, is she planning on going somewhere, whatever? She's going to go to a college out of state. And I was like, oh my goodness. And she said, yeah, but you know what? I've done my job. If they wanted to stay with me, I wouldn't have done my job. I've prepared her well enough to where she is ready to go out and be on her own, do these things. And if she wanted to stay with me, I would feel like I hadn't done my job. And I was like, you're giving me the chills because I feel like, I'm like, I just want mine to stay with me forever.
Oh my gosh.
She said, I have attachment issues. That's a thing for me. But she said, it's taken a little therapy to get there. She said, it's been, it's taken some time to get there.
Well, I must be a terrible mother because I'm like, boom,
go.
No, but I think for me it's more like, I think for me it's more like, I just want her
to have the experiences.
Yes, and I want her to go fly. I want her to go figure it out. And I'll always be here, and I want to be there as much as I can and as much as she'll allow and all of those things. But, I want to see her go. And I think my biggest fear as a parent is that I'm can she go? Is she gonna go?
Yeah.
She wants to go. She wants to go away to school, and I'm totally for that. I'm not stay here.
Yeah.
Blah, 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 blah.
Yeah.
I'm not. I'm go experience it. Go do it. Yes, let's do it. Let's set you up with all your classes so that you have no reason why you can't get into these classes, these schools.
Mm-hmm.
Let's just go for it.
You're making me so nervous. Can you tell?
Yeah,
I'm
you're
biting my nails.
But I'm please, dear Lord, please let her want to for real. I know she says she wants to, but it's when it comes down to that decision, please let her make that decision to go, because I want to see her succeed and I want to see
her grow
and potential and her growth. I'm excited for that part of it. Not necessarily, it's not I'm excited to have her out of my house so I can make a home gym. I'm just saying I'm excited to go see her live her full potential and see what she does with it and get the experience out of school that I didn't necessarily get, You
think that's part of it?
Sure, I'm sure. Yeah, I'm sure that's a big part of it. But as long as she wants it, then that's the right. Then I'm going to completely go, whatever. Whatever. We've already started the steps to say, okay, obviously, baby, if you're trying to go to Harvard, maybe we can't afford that, and I don't know how that's going to happen. But for the most part, it's we've tried to for what we think is going to come of her growth. It's we know that as parents, we're ready to take that on. The financial responsibility, if that's where she ends up and that's where she goes, as long as she tries her hardest, if she gets in, I pray to God that she gets whatever
she wants to
do out of it. And
see, you're so much better than me. And I told Jackson's teacher, who used to be Hayden's teacher, I said,
she wasn't Tristan's teacher, but she was
you
there.
Wanted her to be Tristan's teacher.
Yeah,
I know. I feel so blessed to have her. I got to have her as Hayden's teacher in first grade, and then he got to have her in sixth grade, and now Jackson gets to have her. And I feel like she's a strong person, and I just feel like everything I would want in a teacher that's getting my kid ready to go to their next steps.
Yeah, absolutely.
And so
she's an amazing sixth grade teacher. To have it, I don't know her as a first grade teacher, and I'm sure she's wonderful, but to have that personality and that type of person, get the kids ready for seventh grade, because things change in junior high.
Yeah. And she told me, she said, I'll have him ready. And she did. And don't get me wrong, seventh grade was not easy for Hayden, but I think you probably remember, Hayden would go there after school in seventh grade because he wasn't doing good. And she's like, send him to me. And I'm like, I freaking love you. She really wants them to do well, you know? And it's I told her, I just said, just can you remind me when Hayden's getting ready to go in senior year that I need to start therapy again? And she was like, oh yeah, I will, because her youngest and Hayden are the same grade. And so she's like, oh yeah, I will. She's like, and you're going to have to get me to be okay with him leaving too. And I'm like, okay. Because I am not, I don't know. I'm not like you. But I think for me, I'm like that with being near my family and stuff too. It would be very hard for me to relocate because I wouldn't be near my family.
Yeah.
And like I think I wish I were more like you, more like Jason. I do. Like Jason, when Jason's family left and he stayed.
I know. I think about like people like that where their family's so far.
Yeah.
His parents live so far.
I know. And I'm like, I couldn't do that. Like my personality, I would not have been able to go away for school. Like had I gone to a 4-year, I would have had to go here because I would not have felt, and I mean, I have a lot of anxiety and attachment issues, so that's probably where, it comes from, but I would not have been able to leave the area that my mom is, my grandma is, Like, I remember being a kid, my grandma flying out to go on vacation or whatever, and, back before 9/11, and you could walk people to their gates and stuff, and I would bawl. My grandma would be going on vacation, and I would bawl in the airport because she's leaving. And it's like, I'm that kind of person. So it's difficult for me, and that's why it's like, I mean, I do want my kids to grow, and I want them to spread their wings.
You should have just had a mean mom like mine. No, I'm just kidding.
Stop it. No, I don't know. I wish I were more like that. Because I think that's very good for a kid.
Yeah, but you're nurturing. You're more nurturing, and well, I don't know. You're more. It's the attachment, like you said.
Yeah,
it's that attachment.
But I don't think that's like. I feel like that stunts my kid's growth.
I don't know. I mean, I think it depends on the kid. Look at Jax. He's very. To me, Jax is very adventurous. And I don't think that no matter how much you are wanting to like squeeze him and hold him and have him stick right next to you, he's going to tell you, Mom, I love you so much, but I'm going to do it.
Right.
He
will. That. Yeah. And
Hayden may not, but that's not just because of what you're doing. That's because of his personality.
I know, because I think about it, and like Hayden became very independent, very young. Like he was very much like, he stopped being I want my mommy. He wasn't that kind of kid. By like 2, he wants to do his own thing. He wanted to be like a big boy.
Mm-hmm.
He was much further along at an earlier age. And not that Jackson wasn't like that, but Jackson's still very cuddly and stuff like, I mean, granted, Hayden's almost 15 now. I mean, of course he's not going to be but he very like early on, before Jackson was even born, Hayden, like, he didn't want to come and snuggle, and he didn't, he wanted to do his own thing.
Yeah.
So it's so funny that he's very much like that, but he's also very emotional like me.
Yeah.
He's very emotional like me, and he's very anxious like me.
Yeah.
And so I could see it being harder for him to go off than Jackson, even though Jackson will still come and snuggle with me.
Yeah.
And it's like, he's still like that. And I mean, Hayden will every now and then, but I think he has to be like in the right mood for it. Whereas Jackson, I think Jackson could do it at any point in time.
Yeah.
So it is so different because, it really is dependent on the kid too.
Yeah, their personality, for sure.
Yeah. So I just feel bad that I gave my kid all that jacked up stuff.
Oh, no, it's fine. I mean, we're going to pass things on. Genetics are genetics.
I know, but why? Why do I have to give them sucky stuff?
You give them good stuff too. You have an amazing heart. You have a great personality. You love people with all your heart.
I know, but
you'll do anything for people.
I know, but
the
why?
The boys both have that in them.
Isn't it funny too because they're so different?
Yes, and they both have that in them.
They
have completely different personalities.
They're so different.
They both are like that.
Yeah.
They really are.
I know, it's funny to me because Jackson reminds me so much of Jason's personality, but
Jason has that too. I mean, I will say this. He is much more likely to be like, oh, they're fucking cut the fuck off. You know, like, he's like, oh, okay, they're done. But that's also just, I don't know, his personality, and also he's a guy.
Yeah.
You know, but when Jason loves.
Oh, yeah.
He loves so big.
See, and
everybody feels it.
Right.
You know? I mean, I feel his love with my kids and with us and everything. Like, he really does care and love. And I mean, that guy will
do anything.
For
people that he loves.
For his country. I mean, if he sees like a soldier, if he hears bagpipes, he's in tears. Like, he's like, you know what I mean? Like, he gets that too. He has that big heart too.
And I think that's changed a lot as he's gotten older too, though.
I'm sure.
So, you know, he's a little older than us.
Hopefully, well, I mean, I think that for most people, like, I hope that your heart softens as you get older and doesn't harden. You know what I mean?
Yeah.
Like, I think that that's the way it's supposed to be. I feel like it was much harder. I feel like my heart was harder in the beginning than it is now.
Yeah, for sure.
You know?
And when I talk to my mom, like, oh my God, you know, because she has anxiety, and I'll say, oh my gosh, I'm freaking out over here and I'm being crazy. And she like tries to tell me like, it's going to be okay. Like, and I'm like, no. And she's like, I've gotten so much better over the years, you know, things you learn and things are like, don't get me wrong. And when we were kids, she was more like how I am. But as time's gone on, I'm like, with my kids, she's so much calmer than she ever was with us. Like, what in the world? And she's just like, you'll get there. You'll get past it. It's okay. But I'm like, in the meantime, I feel like an a-hole.
Yeah.
You know, thanks.
Yeah. Well, one of the things that I want to talk about today is that there's so many things going on with this. And we kind of touched last week about, you know, our 2 cents on vaccines and our 2 cents. And look, I still stand by. And this also could very well be a personality trait, but you're not going to tell me that I have to do something.
That is a personality trait.
Hold on. Don't put baby in the corner. That's what you always say. Don't put baby in the corner, okay? Put me in a corner and I'm gonna claw my way out.
Yeah.
You don't do that to people.
Right.
And I feel like right now that's how people feel. There's a lot of people, and both sides, I understand, but they're the people who have not gotten to the point where it's not because they're saying anything crazy is going on, but they just aren't ready to be vaccinated. Right. And you're putting people in a corner based off of their career choices in some cases right now in our state.
A lot, yeah.
A lot of people.
A lot of choices. And a lot of career people.
And it makes people want to claw back because you're putting them in a corner.
Right.
And there's no longer a choice. You no longer have a choice. You no longer have a voice. And it makes people want to go on attack.
Right. Fight or flight is a real thing. I mean, it is a real thing. Yes. So if you're forcing someone into something, I think it is natural to have that fight.
Yes.
Like
absolutely.
you're either going to get out or you're going to fight.
Yeah. And there's a lot of people that are going to say, no, it's fine, you know, whatever. And that's fine. But there are those people, I am one of them, that I'm okay with everyone's decision, but it's your decision.
Yes.
And all I'm saying is, I think for me, my hardest part is, don't put me in a corner and tell me I have to do something.
Right.
Because I have fought my way through every single obstacle that I've come across so far. And I'm going to keep fighting.
Right.
And so don't tell me I have to be a certain way. Don't put me in a box. Don't put me in a corner.
Right.
I'll do what I want to do.
Yes.
That's just the way I am.
Yeah.
Unfortunately, I think I have 3 daughters that are the exact same way.
You do.
I mean?
You do.
And it drives me crazy. But I totally get it. But more than even just the vaccine and everything going on. I don't even want to go into all of that because, like we talked about, it's everywhere.
Yes.
I mean, all this shit is
That's
everywhere.
all the news
COVID
covers.
is all over the news. It's all over our social media.
Anything.
I don't want to talk about it because it's everywhere. And although it's in our minds, it's like, this is not what I want people to come in and listen to. Because to me, right now, our world is upside down. And I don't know where it's going. And I don't know what's happening. And I don't even want to talk about that because there's also other things going on in life.
Yes.
And other things are whatever it is that we happen to be going through.
Right.
And you know what? We may not be everyone's cup of tea.
Right. We're not.
But this is who we are.
It is. It is. You're right. Absolutely. And not everyone is going to like what we say. Not everyone is going to like us.
No. And you know what? Some people might say, I don't want to listen anymore or whatever. I don't know what your problem is. I think we're pretty damn funny, but no. But
we like each other.
We like each other, and you know what? Maybe you just you're super cool, and we're not. But I don't know.
Oh my goodness! Remember, I'm cringy.
You're cringy,
and I'm crunchy.
Are you cringy and I'm crunchy?
Yes,
that's what it is.
That is. We're gonna rename the podcast.
Yeah,
Cringy and Crunchy.
Hey guys, it's Cringy and Crunchy.
Perfect. We're ready to go.
Oh great, we just sold someone a podcast right now. We're gonna make it. Gosh, we
should have patented that
yeah.
right away.
Yeah. So anyway, when we get back, I want to talk a little bit more about our shit.
Yeah. I'm in.
Okay, we're right back. Hey guys, we're back.
Yup.
And we're here to talk about our crap.
Yeah, just about normal stuff.
Yeah, I mean,
everyone deals with, I'm sure.
No, for sure. I think that, like, one of the great things about us doing this podcast, in all honesty, like, we talk so much.
Yeah. I know, like,
we talk a lot. Like, our husbands are like, you guys are still recording? Because, we lock ourselves in the office for, like, hours.
Jason
and we're like, oh, we recorded 30 minutes.
Jason last week said, yeah, it's not very smart to give away the fact you're like, oh, yeah, don't tell our husbands, but I heard it. I'm like, well, I just meant, like, at that moment. Like, I don't care that now that we're just in here, like, shooting the shit, but it's like,
we talk a lot.
Yeah. I feel like we have probably more conversation pre and mid recording than we do on the recording.
Yeah. Well, we are timed, so maybe that's why.
It could be. Yeah. We're definitely not.
And also, I can listen more to your ramble when you go off on the tangent sometimes. When you go down your rabbit hole.
In real life or on podcasts?
In real life.
But I feel like it happens a lot on podcasts.
Well, it does, but I try to
pull it back.
Yeah, I try to. Yeah.
Okay.
I try to. A little bit.
You do let me go on a little bit more outside of the podcast.
No. Yeah.
Oh, I know.
I love you.
I love you too.
And I'll tell you this, friendships are not easy sometimes.
Yeah.
Well, I mean, I think a lot of times. I think I am very blessed and lucky to have as many friends as I do. I didn't grow up with many friends. I feel like probably mostly because I didn't go to school, like public
for
school.
Sure.
I wasn't in a classroom environment. I wasn't around kids that I didn't have that same, like, I didn't have a lot of friends growing up.
Yeah.
And so I was, and then you build on the like additional like trust issues because of everything that happened as a child, that I didn't really have a whole lot of friends until I was probably more of a parent, you know?
Yeah.
Like I started getting into that part of my life where I was settling down, I was a parent, I was older. Like you
had a lot more growth before.
Yes.
You got to a point where you were able to trust a little more.
Yeah. And have commonality, I think, with people.
Right.
That I think for so long I was so much more, I don't want to say mature because it's like, oh, I was so mature. I just mean like I was more mature in the sense of like I wasn't, my life at home wasn't the same as a lot of kids my age.
Right.
So I think that like I had a hard time with common ground.
Yeah.
With kids my age. And then I finally got to a point where I feel like it kind of evened out. Like I found people that were kind of on my same wavelength. Where I see a lot of my siblings, I see like they grew up with their friends, and in high school they're still friends, and they're all having babies at the same time, and they're all doing all these things. They're all growing together. Yeah. It's beautiful. I love it. I love seeing it like that.
Yeah, it is.
But I also have siblings where they haven't found their friends just yet. Like they're friends, you know, like they have people in their lives. They have friends. They haven't found like,
but they're life people.
They're life people.
Mm-hmm.
But they also haven't been there yet. Like they haven't, to me, like it's just different when you've struggled a little bit, or when you've had, like, not to say that they didn't have friends and they don't have friends, but it's like, it's different when you're in a different spot in your life and you start meeting people. And I feel like for me, things really started to change after I had Tristan.
Mm-hmm.
And I maybe because I felt more grounded, and then like I said, I felt like people around me, it was like, oh, we have commonality. I mean, even now with my siblings, I feel like we're more on the same page than ever before.
Well, yeah, because before
they were little.
They were little. You had T. You're a parent. They're not. And now you guys have kids around the same age.
Yeah.
You know, and that makes a big difference. Like,
it does.
I do feel bad for my boys, and I think I have mentioned that before, that I feel bad for them because my brothers have kids that are very close in age, but I had my kids early, and so they don't have that, you know, like they're almost 12 and 14 and a half, and like my baby brother, his daughter just turned 5, you know, and so it's like that's a big age gap, whereas the kids are all real close.
I know, and although mine are the only girls and there's there are all these boys around, you know, I hope that they continue to grow up and that they're cousins and friends, you know, and that they have that with each other.
Yeah.
But I have to ask you, because I think out of the two of us, you have longer friendships with people than I do. I mean, I have some from younger parts of me, but it's not, I feel like you have some really good girlfriends from early on.
Yeah.
And growing up. And I love that. Like, I love that you still have those friendships. I love that, I mean, my husband has friends that they've been friends since
he's way better at that.
I mean, that is insane to me. Like, that you've been friends with someone since kindergarten. Are you effing kidding me?
Yeah. Yeah, he is much better at that, because my girlfriends would be from like high school
and right after.
Yeah, high school.
But still.
And
that's still a long time.
I know, but I feel like I don't talk to them nearly as much.
No, but you know what? That's where I feel like, you know, I think friendships are so hard because we all have so much going on.
Mm-hmm.
every day we have some stuff going on.
Right.
Every household. It doesn't matter if you have 1 kid, 3 kids, 5 kids, 10 kids, no kids.
Right.
Everybody has stuff going on. Doesn't matter if you're married, not married, in a crazy relationship, in a, beautiful, perfect relationship. Doesn't matter. Like, everyone has stuff.
Right.
It could be family, it could be work, it could be anything, that you have going on. And I feel like that's where friendships are hard, because I'm the kind of person, like, you're still my friend, but I may not talk to you every single day.
Yeah.
Like, I may not talk to you for a long time, but I still always think about you.
Right.
Like, always in my mind.
Yeah.
Always in my heart. And, like, if someone says something, I'm like, oh, yeah, my friend so-and-so,
Mm-hmm.
But I know I don't pick up the phone a lot and maybe call or whatever, but it doesn't mean that I don't love them the same way. It's just, that's not, like...
Yeah.
Like, things are just, they've just gone, like, the day has gone away.
Right. Yeah, for sure. Like, my best friend from high school, whenever I talk about her, I still am like, oh yeah, my best friend.
Mm-hmm.
And we, honestly, our kids talk more often than we do.
That's cute.
Because my oldest boy is the same age as, they're a year apart, a year and a day apart, actually. And we're like, okay, it's so sad that our kids talk more, but it's like, life gets crazy, you get busy and stuff, but I'm still like, oh yeah, my best friend,
Well, and I think, like, there are definitely, I would say there are definitely friendships that you grow out of.
I had those, yeah.
Lots of those. But there are friends that, for me, I feel like I'm just because I don't call you every day doesn't mean I'm still, like, there.
Right.
And I think what's hard is that when 2 people both feel that way and they don't necessarily reach out very often.
Mm-hmm.
I just had, I guess it's been probably, like, I say just, but I guess it's probably been like 2 months. I had lunch with a girlfriend of mine who I hadn't talked to. She's never met Danny.
Yeah, like Gigi Shower, maybe.
Yeah,
she was here then.
Yeah, I saw her after. Okay. I saw her after. Gigi was a baby though.
Okay.
And I just told her, I'm like, it's so crazy. But see, we pick right back up.
Yes.
It's like we go have breakfast and we pick right back up where we are.
Right.
And I love the relationships where I feel like she gets it. Like, she knows she's just as busy, but we're always going to be friends.
Yes.
Like, I'm always there. And every once in a while, it's like, how are things?
Exactly.
Whatever.
Yeah.
And, okay, well, let me know if you need anything. When we met, I was reaching out just saying, like, hey, it's been a while. Just wanted to check in. And she kind of, like,
all this stuff is happening.
Like, all this stuff is happening in term, like, let's go have breakfast or lunch. You tell me when, and I will make time. And luckily she did. She could have just said, everything's great, blah, 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 blah. I'm like, oh, that's wonderful. I just wanted to check in, when we have time, let's get together. And I think it's so easy to go through that. But when, like, for me, I think, like, when I'm saying, like, hey, how's it going?
You are wanting to know.
I really do mean it. Like, not like surface, hey, how's it going?
Yeah.
But, like, for real, how is everything? Like, obviously, I don't necessarily maybe text that every day to you. So is everything okay?
Yeah.
Yeah, everything's great. Blah, blah, blah. Okay, wonderful. Then I know you're okay. But, I mean, if you tell me something like that, I'm going to say, like, we need to meet. I'll drop everything. Because I'm for sure, like, I just want to make sure you're good and you're okay and, like, healthy mind and soul, And I think it's hard.
It is. It is because I think it's just human nature that when someone says, like, oh, how are you? You just say, oh, good. Yes. It's just, you just say good. And a few years ago, I don't know if it was something I was listening to on the radio or something at church. I don't know what it was, but the gist of the situation was basically, when someone asks how you are, don't fake it.
Yeah.
Like, don't fake it.
Yeah.
Be honest. And so a few years back, I started saying, you know, like at work, if someone was like, how are you? I'm tired.
Yeah.
Or, oh my gosh, I'm so stressed out. I really started saying that. Like, okay, at the drive-thrus when, oh, well, what? How are you? I'm good. How are you? I do that in the drive-thrus.
Yeah.
But when it comes to personal relationships, I did start saying like, oh, I'm this or I'm that, because it's like, why do we do that? Everything is not amazing. Like, so there's this person, I know you think I'm crazy. I watch all kinds of weird TV, but one show that I haven't watched it in a few years, but Married at First Sight. It's where people get married. They've never met before. These people match them and they get married. And from the first season, one of the couples is still married and they have kids. And it's been like, I think 7 years or something now, right? Like,
okay.
So it's been a while. But the other day she posted a picture, and it was a picture of her, and you could tell she had been crying, and you could tell her husband had been crying. And she posted and said, you know, I was trying to, like, I had started focusing on, like, letting she calls them her girlfriends, like fans and friends, you know, like her girlfriends, like, how to love yourself, how to feel good regardless. And she wanted to do a lot of body positivity. She said, but I'm not there. And she said, you know, this afternoon started with a call with our therapist and ended in us screaming and yelling at each other. And it was just like, it was all real raw, like, things are effed up. Like, I'm jacked up and things aren't great. And it's
and I think
a lot of people don't do that.
I think that this is like kind of almost another topic, but it's like, I think sometimes people put on this persona on social media,
right,
even of like everything's perfect, or maybe they're not meaning to put it out that way, but obviously, like, that's great that she was able to post a vulnerable picture of you. I'm probably not going to post, like, when I'm in the middle of an argument with my husband.
Right.
Or with my kids, or I'm feeling like the shittiest parent in the entire world.
Right.
Because those moments really do happen. And maybe I don't take the time to take a selfie of myself while I'm going through that.
Yeah.
And maybe what you see is my kids playing on a playground somewhere with smiles on their face. It doesn't mean my world is perfect. It doesn't mean everything is going smooth. Mm-hmm. It's just that, to me, social media is not to be used to put all my stuff out there.
Yeah.
And maybe I didn't put that on there. Or maybe it just wasn't in the moment. I'm not one to do that kind of thing. Mm-hmm. And not because I'm trying to hide it. It's just, I just don't. I mean, I feel like there's so much negativity already out there. Maybe no one wants to see that. But I feel like it's so important to check in. Mm-hmm. And even when you think someone is so freaking awesome and doing so damn good, you have no idea what's going on behind closed doors.
Right.
And I feel like as friends and as women, especially, because, you know, I think men have a different relationship with each other.
Right.
And it's just different.
Yeah.
You know, but I think as women, we need to, like, number one, I think that we need to be vulnerable when someone does ask us how we are.
Right.
Because
hide
unless you don't trust the person, unless you don't know the person, what do you have to lose? If they're your friend, why wouldn't you be open with them? Why wouldn't you look to them for comfort for you? And for me, I look at it like, and if you're going through that, tell me so I can help you, because I am your friend.
Yes.
And I want to be here for you.
Absolutely.
And I want to be that thing for you. We had a friend not too long ago go through something.
Yeah.
And just the right moment, the right timing, whatever, I knew something wasn't right. Mm-hmm. And I, like, went straight over to, like, go see what was going on. Is everything okay? I just had this feeling in my gut. Mm-hmm. And although it's not like I could have like
fixed
anything,
right.
but I just hugged her and I like just told her like I love you and I'm here and I mean that with all of the goodness in my heart. I mean that, but luckily she wasn't like, no, everything's fine, go away. And luckily,
which is why you didn't call her.
I didn't, because I didn't want to get that on the phone. I didn't want to hear everything's okay, I'm okay. Everything's fine. No, don't worry about it. Or her send me the voicemail and then text me later saying, sorry, just busy. Yeah, everything's good. I'm okay.
Right.
I didn't want that. Yeah. So I had a feeling I would get, not like that's what she would do to like push me off, but
just because I think that's human nature.
It is. We have a tendency
to just keep it to ourselves and try to deal with it.
And it's like, I want to be here for my friends.
Yeah.
But I can only be here if they allow me to.
Right.
And I don't know everything. And at the same time, like, we all just need to be vulnerable with each other. Mm-hmm. I feel like that's where friendships are hard. And I also feel like friendships are hard because as we continue to grow, which is how we should be, our friends grow, or our life
and
changes.
Who knows if we're growing in the same directions.
I know. I mean, it's bizarre because, you and I met because our kids went to the same elementary school. Our kids don't go to that elementary school anymore.
Yeah.
My kid hasn't been there for quite some time now.
Yeah.
And we're still friends.
Right.
So it doesn't mean that it's that you're going to outgrow all of your friends.
No. Some you do. There's still like like my best friend from junior high. I don't really ever talk to her. I see her social media posts and I see, obviously I only see what she posts. I see she's doing well. In the past, she's had some rough stuff and we've kind of talked and things like that about it. And she's not someone that I necessarily like grew with. We grew in separate directions.
Yeah.
And that's okay. There's nothing wrong with that,
But there's no harsh feelings.
No. I mean, I love her. If she wanted to hang out, I would hang out. It's not anything like that. It's just that we grew apart, and that's fine. But there are those people who you don't necessarily talk to all the time, like my best friend. We may not see each other for months on end, and then we see each other, and I'm down to have like a 4-hour conversation, and we just pick up where we left off. It's not awkward. There are some people that it is awkward. Like, it is uncomfortable to have a conversation that is like, okay, and why is it weird? I don't know. Mm-hmm. I mean, there are people that I know from, back when I was, did I ever say that I worked at Hot Dog on a Stick on this? I don't know if I ever mentioned it.
I think you said you worked at the mall.
Okay, so, like, one of my best friends from there, she's a few years older, and she, like, was only here for school, and then she ended up moving, and now she lives in, oh my gosh, she's somewhere near, like, New England or something. I don't know exactly the city, but like, she's still someone that I think about a lot, like, and I see her posts of her kids, and I'm, like, so happy of the life that she has. Like, I know she always wanted to have kids, and she finally has kids and is married, and I feel, like, so happy for her. And even though we don't ever talk, I still consider her a really good friend.
Yeah.
And, like, sometimes I'll mention, like, her daughter turned 4, and so she was like, oh, happy birthday, and I was like, they're a long story, but we would call each other Boo Baby. So I'm like, oh, Boo Baby, happy birthday to your baby, like stuff like that. And she responded back like, Boo Baby had a Boo Baby, and it's like, I still consider her a good friend, even though we don't talk very often, but I still love her so much, know? Yeah. So it is different how you have relationships with people.
It is. I just feel like, I don't know what it is. I don't know if it's just the, like, one not being vulnerable with the other, or both not being vulnerable, or misreading or whatever. But I feel like friendships are so hard sometimes, and I feel like a lot of it is they're hard because we're just not being raw and real.
Right. Yeah. I agree because, I mean, like when stuff went down with me and Jason, I mean, honestly, I only ever told my best friend like what exactly happened. She's the only person I ever talked to about it. I never told anyone else.
Yeah.
And it's because I don't want everyone else knowing all this shitty stuff. I don't want them thinking different things of us,
and also, And sometimes it's like, look, your family is amazing and your family is wonderful, but some things you don't want your family to
I don't want my family thinking different stuff about my husband.
Yeah,
I don't
because
want
you still love your husband. You don't want them to look badly about him or anything.
Right, like he's still going to be here forever. Like, I need them to still have those same opinions about him. Right?
Yeah,
so it's like, I knew she wouldn't judge me. Yeah. I knew she wouldn't say, like in that situation, some people may have said like, leave him. Why would you stay with him? And I knew she wouldn't be like that.
Yeah.
And I knew she wouldn't have harsh feelings toward him.
Yeah.
I knew she wasn't going to judge him or feel differently about him. So I knew she was the one person that I could tell and not have to worry about that.
Yeah.
But it wasn't something, if anyone else, and there were people like when stuff was going on, I was a mess, and there were people that were like, what's going on? Are you okay? And I would just say, yeah, because I didn't want to tell them anything. I didn't feel comfortable.
Yeah.
I didn't want judgment. That, and I think that's a lot to do with the reason we tell people, oh, I'm good.
Right.
Because we don't want judgment.
Right.
We don't want to bring people down, and we don't want to bring judgment.
Right. And I love the, we have a group of friends that is very vocal about when things go bad in our lives.
Yeah.
And I love that. Even though sometimes I'm like, pendeja, I already told you.
Yeah.
How many times do I have to tell you? Because she's my girlfriend and I love her so much.
Right.
Like, how many times? Come on. I told you this already.
Yes.
But I love that she feels like she can, because you
let
have
it
to.
All out.
Because you have to.
You do.
You have to let it all out. I absolutely love that.
I love it.
I love that she feels comfortable enough and trusts us enough.
Yeah.
To do that too.
And I think that comes with growth too, because now I'm in a different place. If what had gone on between Jason and I was going on now, I think I would feel more comfortable to talk about it with other people. It's just, at that point in my life, I didn't. I feel like I was a different person at that time too.
I'm sure. Yeah. I just feel like if they're really your friends, then there shouldn't be judgment, because friends don't judge.
Yeah.
We could be frustrated with each other. We could sometimes go through moments where I'm like, I don't understand why she's doing this.
Right.
I understand why she feels this way, whatever. Mm-hmm. But friends are supposed to be there through thick and thin.
Yes.
It is what it is. And if that is truly your friend, if you can sit there and say, this is my friend,
right,
then you should be able to have a real conversation with them.
Absolutely. 100% agree.
So I'm telling you that right now that I'm just kidding. But I just feel
next episode.
No, but sometimes I feel like we grow and we talk about like we have to find balance with our husband and our kids and our career and our home and our family.
Right.
It's the same thing with our friends.
Right.
And it's like our girlfriends sometimes. Mm-hmm. It's like I feel like I have so many different groups of girlfriends.
Yeah.
And I think I have amazing girlfriends to where, look, I could throw them all in a crate and everyone will be fine. No one's going to eat each other alive. Okay, everyone's going to be fine. And everyone will figure it out and, everyone gets along.
Yeah.
But I feel like also at the same time, like, friendships take vulnerability. Friendships also take nurturing and growing.
Right.
And sometimes I think, like, hey, just because your friend looks like all her shit is freaking clean and cool on Instagram or Facebook or whatever the heck she's on, it doesn't
There's
mean,
a lot of filters.
It
And like
There's a
you
lot
said,
of
like
others.
you're not going to post a picture of you
No.
fighting with your husband.
No,
Whereas,
and I
like-
don't expect anyone to like post
Yeah.
all their dirty laundry on
Right.
there. Please,
But if
really,
you're my
maybe don't.
friend, yeah, please don't. I mean,
Please
unless what you have to say is maybe going to help others,
Right,
Because sometimes,
right.
like I think
Absolutely.
her post was really good.
Oh, absolutely.
Because it was like,
it has
look,
a positive meaning.
yeah. But at the same time, too, you have to be able to recognize what's going on with your friends.
Yeah.
If you know things aren't great, they might be posting great stuff, but if you know things aren't great, you do have to reach out.
Yeah. Yeah.
It is.
And I think it's important, like, we're in a crazy time right now. We're in some crazy times right now. I mean, I feel like things have always been kind of crazy. Things are really crazy.
Yeah.
But, maybe do some check-ins. And I say that to myself even, like, do some check-ins. And life is busy. I know everyone is busy. I know that the more, like, the kids, when they're going back to school, I mean, everything seems so chaotic and busy. But check in with your girlfriend.
Yeah.
Be there for each other. No judgment. No anything. Just pure love and support each other. Because as cheesy as that sounds, it's true in the sense of, like, I'm telling you, you don't have to like everyone, but if you're going to call them your friend, be a friend.
Yes.
And that is probably my biggest thing is it's like, be a friend to one another. Be real, be raw, and be there. Like, no matter what.
Yeah.
Like, even if I don't agree, I still love you.
Yeah.
And I'm always going to be there.
Absolutely. For sure.
So, that's my soapbox for the day, I guess.
I love it. I know.
Well, I hope you guys got something out of our
little rant there.
Yeah. Be a friend. Call your friend.
Call your friend. Check in now.
Check in. Text a girl right now and say what's going on. Okay?
Yes.
All right.
Have a good week.
Thanks for swapping with us. Segment music by Callie Grace. For more of Callie Grace's hits, follow Callie Grace on iTunes and Spotify today.